Hey, all, it's time to wake up. Before we get started today, I want you to make sure you hit that like button and hit that subscribe button. The more subscribers we have, the better off we are, and we need you. Today, we're going to take a departure from the fire and brimstone that you're used to coming from me. It's time to be cultured. And I want to reintroduce to some of you and remind the rest of you of my first guest, or one of my guests. That's David Carroll, formerly of Quicken Rocket fame. And now he runs the Nicely Theater Group. Dave, quickly, what does the Nicely Theater Group do?
Well, we produce plays. I retired from Quicken Loans about 4 years ago and decided that that would be a good, fun post-retirement gig. So we produce plays, local plays, just for, entertainment all in the Detroit area.
Okay. And you've partnered with this amazing gentleman, Mr. John Sloan, to pull off the Obsidian Fest. Okay. This whole theater, this Black Theater Festival. And Mr. Sloan, Obsidian stands for, the definition of obsidian is dark glass brought on by the cooling of molten lava. Mr. Sloan, help me out here, how this becomes a festival and how you partnered with the Nicely Theater Group.
Well, first of all, Steve, thanks for having me. I'm appreciative of the opportunity to be here and to talk to your audience. When we were thinking about building this project, David and I met actually over the summer over the phone through a mutual connection with Rochelle Riley, and started really thinking about how our two organizations could work together. I run Ghostlight Productions, and we do mostly event production, independent film, and theatrical production. And when Dave and I started talking about, what theater was, what this moment was, you have to remember, this was July, August of last year. And last summer felt kind of tumultuous. I don't know about the rest of your audience. I'll speak for myself. It was a tumultuous summer. And so when we were thinking about how to collaborate, we were thinking about what it meant to co-produce an event, we started thinking about what theater can do. And I firmly believe that theater and performing arts has the power to do one of a couple things. It can show us who we were, it can show us who we are, and it can show us who we can become. And when we start looking at that through a lens of the Black American experience and how diverse that experience has been, we needed a name, we needed a way to identify it that was strong, that was powerful. And you think about precious gems like gold and diamonds and pearls, and what those mean. You think about platinum and the connotation that carries with it. And Obsidian is just as strong, just as powerful of a gem. And I think we as a Black community have gone through, I don't have to enumerate what we've gone through over the past few years or the past few centuries, but being able that hardened fire coming from lava, coming from the fire of a volcano, and still producing something smooth, something glass-like, something precious, something powerful, is exactly what this festival is about.
When you say when we have hard times, we think of what theater can do. I thought of all the people throughout the years that have laughed, cried, and argued over Tyler Perry's plays when he was just on the Chitlin circuit. This is before he was in movie theaters. And it was his plays on the quote unquote Chitlin circuit that really brought African Americans into the theater, and it really displayed the African American experience. So there is no depth. I mean, there is no way to express the depth that theater can affect people. So with Obsidian Fest, okay, and I've got to show this because this is a masterful website. It's just a masterful website. And with the Obsidian Fest, what are you going to accomplish? Okay, we see that it starts March 25th, Thursday, March 25th, and goes through Saturday, March 27th. Is this all online with COVID? How is this happening?
Yeah, so we hope to accomplish a lot. We hope to educate, we hope to inspire, we hope to entertain a broad audience. The featured festival itself, so let me break down how this works, right? The festival is kind of broken into a couple stages. The first stage is actually in the process of happening right now, and that's our Sister Cities program and our educational content. So starting February 18th, every Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, we've had a series of panel discussions, of featured artist Q&As with actors from TV, from theater, from film. And then we've also held master classes in voice and dance, in acting. And so our goal is to provide these resources to a broad audience. They can understand and grow in the theatrical arts. And then this March 25th, 26th, and 27th, next Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, is the live stream. And when I say the live streaming, what we did is we have just over 100 people right now on payroll for this project. And 45 to 50 of them had to come into a theater. So we went over to Marygrove Theater. And I want to give a big shout out to Rachel Allen of the team at Marygrove Conservancy. And we rented out that theater space for 3 weeks, and including 2 prior weeks of virtual Zoom rehearsal. In that time, we were able to mount, stage, and film 6 plays. And so those plays then went into the post-production process. In fact, after I finish up with you, I have to give some final approval for my editors and my sound mixers to get those pieces done. And then we're going to live stream those pieces next weekend, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday of next weekend, in combination with some of those panels, Q&As, where anybody that wants to watch is going to get a chance to hear from the playwrights, to hear from the directors, to hear from the actors themselves. It was a huge task in the middle of COVID, in the middle of the pandemic, but we were able to do that without one single person on our crew and our cast and our company getting sick.
Okay, time out. You're telling me you put actors and theater crew to work during the pandemic?
I am telling you that in no small
I mean,
part.
when Broadway shut down, you're
Yes.
actually putting the thespians to work.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Wow.
What I'm telling you is that there are over 100 actors, writers, directors, choreographers, musicians, technicians, marketing personnel, graphic designers who did not have work in the theater industry that have work now because of this collaboration with Nicely Theater and because of the Obsidian Theatre Festival.
Now, how did you get the funding to pay 100 people?
You're looking at you're looking at the funding in Nicely Theater Group. Listen, I make no small bones about how this project came about. David Carroll and Nicely Theater Group came with those resources, and were able to provide us with the ability to actually pay all these individuals.
Okay, right now I'm on obsidianfest.com. Is that where the live stream is going to happen?
.org, yes, obsidianfest.org. Yep.
Obsidianfest.org. That's where it's going to happen.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Dave, how did you get people to support this? I mean, I know you're the magician. You were the master of all things, or I can't remember your title when you were at Quicken, but how did you get people to actually buy into this?
Well, they called me vice president of miscellaneous stuff.
Right.
I'm the founder and the chairman of Nicely Theater Group, and though we do have a small board consisting of Leslie Andrews, who I believe you know, and a gentleman named Mitch Master. The 3 of us consist of the board, so we really are able to make the decisions. And we all thought it was a very important, worthwhile initiative. I've always been very interested in Black stories and in issues of race. And I know that I personally have benefited and learned a lot from seeing movies and plays that focus on these stories and issues. And kind of like you referenced before, works of art and theater and movies are really, in my opinion, the best way to learn about Black experience and issues of race, as opposed to, say, listening to politicians and pundits and whatnot. I think it can have a lot of effect and educate people a lot. So, and I think there's a lot of very talented Black artists in the area who have great, interesting things to say. And we just really felt strongly about giving them a platform from which to say it. And I should point out that this festival is free of charge to everybody, because we just think it's very important for people to see these works. We want to encourage them. We don't want there to be any impediments. So this is 100% free. And one good thing about virtual theater, we all miss live theater, all of us theater fans, and we're still probably a few months away from having live theater. But with virtual theater, watch it at the specific times that we're going to be live streaming. It will be available free on our website to watch at your convenience, in your pajamas at your home. You could pause and fast forward and all that. So virtual theater is actually very convenient and it's free. So we think we just want to make it as available and accessible to the public as possible, because we think it's very important.
Okay, well, Mr. Sloan, take us through this. On Thursday, the first play is Papa Jennings is Gone.
Yes.
Give me a brief synopsis of this.
So Papa Jennings is Gone is a wonderful, wonderful piece by a Detroit playwright, Asneth Elizabeth Parker. And it's this really hilarious kind of short comedy around a family grappling to deal with the loss of their patriarch. So it takes a kind of serious topic, right? And how do you deal with the loss of a father, of a father-in-law, of a husband, but puts its own spin on it. It's one of those pieces, and David and I have talked about this, where you could really imagine the family to be almost anybody. Like, what is beautiful about some of the work that we're producing, about all the work that we're producing really, is that it's a human story. At its center, it's about a family grappling with this loss. Now, the way they do that, what you find out about this family along the way, about some things from the past that might not otherwise have come out, is where the humor and the hilarity kind of ensues. My associate artistic director calls it the Golden Girls meets A Different World. It's that type of show and that type of piece.
Okay, let's go on to the next one.
Yeah.
Next Thursday at 8 p.m. you have 2020. What is that about?
Correct. So 2020, again, another Detroit playwright. And I got to mention to everybody, all of these actors are Detroit actors, all the film crew, Detroit film crew. And this is a piece that's really about what happens when I think everybody's had an unrequited love. Everybody's had a question mark maybe around somebody in their life where they said, what if? What would happen if? And this is that story. It's two best friends who are hanging out together for one night before she goes to get married. And there are a lot of questions that come up about why they were never together. Should they end up being together is the question that we have to end up asking ourselves, and that they ask themselves at the end of the play.
Been there, done that. Okay. Making Bond.
Yes.
On Friday night of this week. What in the world is that?
Making Bond is a hilarious satire. It asks us, I don't know if you remember, but a few years ago, they were thinking about casting Idris Elba, the Black British actor, as James Bond. And certain segments of the world lost their mind, right? They said, there's no way that you can cast this white person as this Black man as a white man, without forgetting the fact that James Bond didn't actually exist. It wasn't a person in real life. And so this play takes that one step further. It imagines what would happen on a film crew if James Bond is cast as a Black actor and nobody is told.
Well, they did cause problems. I'm a Bond fan. The actual new 007 is an African-American female.
Absolutely.
Which is going to be very, very interesting to see the fallout. And also on Friday, Metaphor in 3 Acts. What is that?
So Metaphor in 3 Acts is an amazing piece. It's a little bit more abstract than some of the other pieces that we've talked about so far. But it really is a 12-page script. And it's a 12-page script that repeats 4 times. And the reason that's important is because it's a play that asks you to consider what it means to conform. Should you conform and follow the crowd, or should you agitate? Should you push back when you see something wrong? Should you make your voice heard? Should you be an activist? And so what it does, because it repeats with the same actors, but the language is different every time, right? So who gets assigned the lines is different. And so you really start to wonder and think about truth, and how does truth change based upon the truth teller? Do you saying something, David saying something, me saying something, when we say it with our experiences and our differences in identity, does that carry different weight? It's a really, really powerful piece.
Okay. And finally, on Saturday, Mother's Best Friend is an Ass.
Yeah, it's Mother's Boyfriend. Yeah.
Mother's Boyfriend is an Ass.
Yes, yes. It's a kitchen table drama. right? It's a little bit of Arthur Miller meets a little bit of August Wilson, with some Susan Laurie Parks thrown in there. If your viewers aren't familiar, those are three just kind of iconic playwrights in America. And it asks us to think through relationships, where a mother is trying to rebuild a relationship with her son, where, you know, her best friend is trying to figure out what's wrong. She feels like there's a secret there and she's not exactly sure what that secret is. But it's two best friends like really struggling through this kind of midlife crisis with each other. And just a story about relationships, relationships that we've all dealt with. Yeah.
Okay. So once again, the streaming will be at obsidianfest.org.
Yes,
correct?
Sir. Yes, sir.
Starting on Thursday.
Yep.
Now let's go backwards to something else that you talked about, and we went a little bit fast over it. Tell us about the education piece and how you have been interacting with the schools.
Yeah, thank you for coming back to that. So, you know, when David and I initially started talking, we started talking about the impact that we know theater can have. And it's for a lot of the reasons that you've both mentioned today, right? Your ability to go to a show, to laugh at that show, to enjoy that show, and the conversations that then provokes and spawns later down the line, either internally to yourself or with others. We wanted to put some real muscle around that. We wanted to be able to go to young people and say, you know, you want to be able to see a version of yourself on that stage? Absolutely. Why don't we help you develop the tools so you can become that person on that stage? And so every Thursday, Friday, Saturday, since February 18th, we've been holding a series of master classes and panels. One of those series of panels has been called Barriers to Entry, where we talk to Black artists and directors, creatives, academics, and we talk about why it is that we see these disparities. Why is it difficult to break in with new work? Why is it difficult to break in with casting and the kind of social dynamics that go in when people talk about colorblind casting? And then on Fridays, we have a masterclass series. And so we've reached out and worked with this, not just DPS, and not just the NAACP, and I'm saying not just as if those aren't enough, but we've reached out to a collection of other cities across the country, including Birmingham, Alabama, Atlanta, Washington, D.C., Philadelphia, Oakland, and had students and teachers that have been able to reach out to us and consume this content. And again, just like David mentioned, all of this content is free of charge. And all of this content is up on our website, on our YouTube, on our Facebook, for people to be able to view and learn from at their leisure.
Okay. Mr. Sloan, Dave, Carroll, is there anything else you guys want to add?
Well, I just want to give kudos to John for the great work he's done on this. You can see his passion and his knowledge and experience come through. There's so many, this is such hard work. There's so many balls to keep in the air and dealing with the artists and the backstage personnel, the directors and writers, and in curating this. There's so many, a lot of great works were submitted for this festival, and we had to make some tough choices. And John really knows his stuff, and it's been a pleasure working with him. And as you can see, we have something for everybody. The shows are generally pretty short. They're what we refer to as one acts, and I think they range from about 8 minutes to about 40 minutes, the average being about 20 minutes. And I really think people will enjoy it, not just Black people, not just theater people. I think we have something for everybody.
Okay.
So the live stream kicks off at 8 o'clock Thursday night. At
7 p.m.
7 p.m. Thursday night.
7 p.m. Thursday night.
Obsidianfest.org. All right.
Yes,
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to get cultured. Thursday night, 7 p.m. Go to obsidianfest.org and sit and chill. Get off the mindless matter that you saw on the Grammys and look at something for real. Gentlemen, thank you for joining me, and keep up the great work.
Steve, before we go, I hate to interrupt, but one of the things I really want to make sure that we mention is that because we're able to offer this content completely free of charge, we're asking that all of our audience and viewers consider supporting one of 3 charitable organizations. That's the Detroit Public School Foundation. We all know the amazing work that they do here in this city. And then also 2 other orgs called Project Art and Black Theater United. You can find information about them on our website. And for anybody that's interested, they can just go and help donate to those great groups. And last thing, if you're getting your party together, if you're getting a watch party and you're thinking about being able to sit back and relax, we have a great great partnership with a group called One Hope Wine. Well, they will deliver wine directly to your doorstep and donate 10% of everything you spend to the charity of your choice.
I knew wine was somewhere on this. Now, you said a watch party. So are you going to be going out live on Facebook as well as obsidianfest.org?
Yes, we will. Yep.
Okay, what is the Facebook page that people can look this up on?
At Obsidian Fest. If you're looking for us anywhere, just type in at Obsidian Fest, OBSIDIANFEST.
All right. Once again, gentlemen, thank you for joining me. And I'll be watching on Thursday night. I'm going to turn off the madness and turn on the mind.
Thanks, Steve.
Great, thank you.